Let me share with you how I raised $250,000 for a new business idea, and it wasn't even a business idea that we were particularly convinced was going to work. But we raised $250,000 for about 10% equity, and it was actually pretty easy and effortless. Let me talk you through the steps. Okay, step one. So my team at Rethink Press came to me and they said, hey, we've had an idea that AI could support the writing process for authors. And wouldn't it be interesting if people could tell their idea for a book to the AI, and then it would break it into chapters, and then it would start creating a reader avatar and all the questions that reader would have, and then that would feed into a system that helps people to write a book. I was like, okay, that sounds interesting, but do we really need another business idea? We've already got so much going on. And they were saying, no, this is going to be a great business idea, and we've got a really good team who are excited about this, and we've talked to a few other people and they're excited. I thought, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll conduct a test. We'll launch a waiting list, and if 150 people join the waiting list, then we'll put this through to step 2. And I was hoping, kind of secretly hoping, that not enough people would engage and that we'd be off the hook for starting a new business. But here's what happened. We created a landing page for a waiting list, and we just said the basic information about what this idea was. It says, would you like to write a book? AI tools are not going to write the book for you, but it's going to help you to structure your thinking, and it's going to help you to create a better book, and it's going to help you to author faster. We had a nice landing page, and we said, if you're interested in this AI tool, join the waiting list, and we'll let you know when it's available. And we did that all on ScoreApp as well, by the way. So what we did is I posted this onto LinkedIn with a little bit of a blurb, just top line information, and then we sat back to see what would happen. And we were totally shocked. About 750 people joined the waiting list in a short space of time. And then it went up to 1,100 over the next few weeks. So it was a lot more than I thought. When people joined the waiting list, we didn't just get their name and email address. We also asked them 5 key questions. We asked them about pricing. How much would they pay for something like this? We asked them what they were hoping to achieve, right? So we asked them, are you interested in writing a better book, a faster book, right? A couple of different other things, right? So we asked them what they're trying to achieve. We said, what problems are you trying to avoid? And we gave them a list of key problems. We also said, what have you tried that didn't work? So we asked them some of the things that they'd bumped into that had stopped them from succeeding in the past. So we had all of that data and all that information as people were joining the waiting list. I was quite shocked about 2 things. Number 1, how fast people joined the waiting list and how many people joined the waiting list. But number 2, how much people were willing to pay. So on average, people were looking at about 50 to 100 pounds when we actually crunched the data per month. And I thought this was maybe a lot cheaper than that. Maybe people were interested in paying 15 to 20 pounds per month, because most of the time people give you a lowball answer. They actually don't want to pay a lot, so they give you the cheapest possible. But a lot of people were saying 50 to 100, even 100 plus per month is what they would expect to pay. So when we took this to our CFO and we created a financial forecast, we actually realized that the business could be a really successful business, and we didn't have to hit huge numbers. We had to get a few thousand customers to make this a really successful business. So we thought, you know what? Let's see if we can run this idea past angel investors. So step 2, we analyzed the data. We had a look at what people were willing to pay price-wise. We had a look at what problems they were trying to solve, what goals and hopes and dreams they had. And we also did a financial forecast where we looked forward into the future to find out how successful this business had to become in order to become profitable. And what we discovered is it was only a few thousand clients at the price point that people had specified. So we realized that there were achievable targets to building a really profitable business, and also a lot of people saw value in this product. So we thought, you know what? Let's go ahead to step 3. Step 3, we thought, you know what, if we're going to build a business, we want a business that becomes valuable. So let's go and talk to some angel investors, people who are experienced in seeing businesses start, grow, and exit for a lot of money. So I went and put together an introduction presentation for some angel investors, and I put it out to my network, and we got a few dozen people who said, yep, I'd love to see the presentation. I'll jump on a Zoom call and I'll watch the presentation. And we presented them with the data that we'd collected. So we told them that we had launched a waiting list. We'd had 1,100 people fill in the waiting list form. We'd collected a lot of data about price and the problems that people were trying to solve, and the hopes and dreams and expectations as to what they wanted to achieve, and the barriers that had stopped them achieving that in the past. We presented all that data. We showed them our team. We showed them our plan for building a product. But we also told them, at this point, we haven't built any technology. We haven't built anything. We don't have any customers. We haven't written a single line of code. All we've done is launched the waiting list. And the angel investors came galloping across to us and they said, we want to fund this. So we raised pretty easily about $250,000 from a group of angel investors. In fact, many angel investors, we had to tell them that they could invest less than they wanted to put in, because we wanted to get a good group of angel investors who could bring to the table more than just money. We wanted people who could add their influence, who could promote it, who could introduce it to people, who could endorse it, all of those sorts of things. We wanted the full angel investor experience. So we were really selective as to who we would bring on as angel investors and how much money we'd let them put into the project. And in many cases, people who wanted to put in 50,000 had to put in a lot less than that because we wanted to have a good spread of angel investors on our team. So step 4, we then took that money and we got developing. So we built the tool, we put together our team of people, we started ramping up the waiting list even more, getting more people to fill in the waiting list and getting ready for launch day. So to get to launch day, a few things had to happen. We had to have a beta testing group of 30 people to test the software that we were building, and we had to get their feedback. This was a great tool and it lived up to their expectations. I always believe that you need at least 30 people in a group in order to get statistical significance when it comes to the feedback that you receive. And that goes for a lot of different things. I won't say that I've tested something unless at least 30 samples have been achieved. Sometimes even more than that, 150. I see some people testing things with 10 or 15 people. It's not quite enough. So we tested with 30 beta users, and then the next group we did was 150 beta users, and we got phenomenally good feedback. People loved the tool. They saw that it had some glitches, they saw that it had some problems, but they overlooked that stuff. They knew that we'd fix that. They could see what we were building and they could see that it was going to help them to achieve their goals. So we got good feedback, and then that took us up to the day of launch. Step 5, we launched the product. We actually got 2 groups of 300 or 400 people to join us on a Zoom call. So we had a Zoom call in the morning and a Zoom call in the afternoon. We went back to the full waiting list and we asked people to come along and check out the actual launch event. We said we're doing a soft launch only to people who had joined the waiting list, and you can come along to a morning session or an afternoon session. And we delivered a 1-hour presentation where we demoed the software, we showed people what we'd created and gave them an opportunity to be one of our early users. Now what happened is we signed up about 220 people at £39 a month. And actually, that was our first £100,000 of annualized recurring revenue. So on day 1 of launch, we became a 6-figure ARR business, which if you know anything about SaaS, it's a big milestone that most people don't even achieve in their first 6 months to 12 months. We did that on day 1 by following these steps. And now what's coming next is we're going to ramp it up, and hopefully we build a really successful business that helps a lot of people and becomes really valuable. I hope you found that case study useful. If you did, give us a sub to the channel, click like, leave a comment, and I hope to see you next time.